I am so disappointed in each and every one of you lads. You had that game by the scruff of the neck and you let them get inside your head and intimidate you. You threw that game away and I'm so upset by it. You could have won that so easily. I'm so disappointed. We need to go back to the training ground. We need to get some more tactics in you. Just get out of my sight. The gaffer's right, you know, lads. We should have won that game. We should have won that game and we threw it away. I'm so upset with myself. Nah, man, don't be upset with yourself, innit, mate? It was my problem. I was the one that did not dazzling gleam the crocodile. I was the one that let the team down, not you, mate. Don't be upset with yourself, Wallace. I appreciate that, Frosties. Oh, I just feel like I've let the team down today. What about you, Mentine? What do you think? Mentine?
Yes, I agree, Wallace, that we were really bad and need to be better in the future, and I also hope that we can win the games we have coming up by a score of directly 6 kills to 0 kills.
Yes, I agree. I hope that we can win our games too. Anyway, bro, did you hear me? That we is gonna have to sell Garchomp apparently. What? Where did you hear this? Mate, Swagnate was talking to me about where to get his drugs from, and he told me, mate, that they want to buy Latias instead of Garchomp, you know, mate.
Oh my god, that is scandalous, and I cannot believe that they would sell a player as good as Garchomp without informing us.
Now, let's not be hasty, lads. I'm sure the board have their reasons. Do you have a crush, Wallace? Shut up! How is it going, PPL fans? Welcome back to PPL Division 2, Season 4, Week 4, where Birmingham Spritzee will be playing against A.S Rowlett and my old thorn in my side, nemesis enemy, Ashton Akai. And he is an absolute pain in my side. But yeah, before we get into the team builder, I have a couple of things I need to say, and one of which is, you can probably tell by my voice at the moment being a bit deeper, but I'm very ill at the moment. I'm very stuffed up, and I'm going to try my hardest to keep various bodily functions away from this video, such as coughing, sneezing, sniffing. I'm going to try my hardest to keep them out, but I can't help it if one slips through, because it's very hard to even speak without, you know, needing to cough every 10 seconds. But yeah. And the other one is the board have went ahead and made a change to my team without telling me, and they have basically decided to say goodbye to our spearheaded midfielding, like our spearheaded attacker. They've decided to do away with Garchomp and bring in Latias. Now, we do lose out on physical ground stab and physical dragon stab and a bit more of like a Bulkymon, but we do gain, like we already have Landorus for the stab earthquake. We already have enough bulk that we're bringing in with Latias that I feel like it's a worth it trade. We gain a solid special wall, a solid special attacker, a bit of nice speed, and yeah, it's quite nice. But yeah, let's bring up Eric's team now. His team is a Mew, a Zygarde, 10%, a Thunderous Eye, a Mega Gyarados, an Infernape, a Kamala, a Ferrothorn, and a Granbull. Now, I've used a few of these mons myself, and I can personally say that Mew is a fun thing to build with, Infernape is a threat, Ferrothorn is really fucking hard to use, and Zygarde is a pain. But yeah, the team we're bringing this week is as follows: Tapu Koko, Mega Scizor, Silvally Grass, as you'll see there, Latias, Landorus, and Gigalith. Now, I'm going to start with Tapu Koko, and the reason that I've gone Choice Scarf here is because Eric's the type of player that likes to do silly things turn 1 and try and psych out his opponents. Like last season, he ran a Speedy Fortress, outsped my Sylveon, and nearly O-code it with Heavy Slam. So, that's a bit of a problem. Whereas this week I want to try and get the leg up on him. I don't feel like in his team that Kamala is going to come, and I don't feel like Thunderous is going to come. I feel like Mega Gyarados, Mew, Zygarde, Ferrothorn, Granbull, Infernape is his best 6 to bring against me. But yeah, in that case, Coco outspeeds everything on his team and can be a huge win condition. I don't want to risk him being like Scarf Zygarde and, you know, 1,000 arrowsing me as I try to go for a Dazzling Gleam and Oko at turn 1. I don't want to risk anything. I just want to make sure I know from the start that I can outspeed everything on his team and catch him off guard. Now we've gone with a typical moveset, enough speed to outspeed a Zygarde 10% that is Scarfed. We speed creep it. I made a mistake with my IVs. I didn't realise you could bottle cap them to level to all 31, so I've had to make certain like compromises with EVs and IVs this week. Won't be happening again. But yeah, it's a typical Coco set with Volt Switch over U-turn and Hidden Power Fire to hit Ferrothorn. It's the only thing I have that can hit Ferrothorn, to be fair. And yeah, this guy outspeeds the entire team and really hurts the opponent's team. It really hurts him, and I feel like this could be a huge win condition for me. Now, on to the next one. Really quick team analysis. We have Mega Scizor. Now, the biggest threat for me on his team is Mega Gyarados. That thing is an absolute pain. Well, actually no, Infernape is also another pain, but I have a plan to deal with Infernape. But the thing is, Mega Gyarados is a huge threat to me, so what I've done is I've brought Mega Scizor here with enough speed to outspeed a minimum speed Mega Gyarados, like a bulky dose. I've also gone with like physically defensive, so that its waterfalls and crunches are 3-hit KOs on me. And I can then 2-hit KO it in return with a U-turn, and if it's a bulky one, I can set up a Swords Dance and then U-turn as it can't kill me. So that's really nice. Obviously, I could get a Bullet Punch sweep here if I can set up on Ferrothorn. It's the only thing on that team I can really set up on apart from Kamala, because everything else gets fire coverage, and I don't think Kamala's going to come, so I could set up on Ferrothorn, kill it with Swords Dance, kill it with a U-turn, get that thing out of the way. Maybe set up on Zygarde as well, but I don't want to risk that thing, you know, setting up and then Tectonic Raging me or something. But yeah, I've gone with the bulky one here because it deals with both Zygarde and Mega Gyarados really well. Like, Thundurus is a problem with Incinerate, but it can also deal with Thundurus quite well. If it locks itself into Thunderbolts and stuff, I take less than half from that, and I can Roost and possibly Swords Dance if it's like a choice Scarf set. But yeah, everything else on the team, can't really set up on it. So I felt like it could be a great opportunity to try and give Mega Scizor the kills it deserves. Now, the other thing that I was worried about was that he could try and pull some silly Fire Blast Gyarados in order to clear the way for Zygarde to sweep. So I decided to bring something that could deal with both of them. And that's Silvally Grass with Flamethrower, Parting Shot, Ice Beam, and Multi-Attack. Now, if you look at the EVs, these are really weird EVs. I've gone with physically defensive with a bit of attack investment, but the bulk of this set is special. And the reason for that is because, basically, with a relaxed nature, I outspeed non-speedy Gyarados, bulky dose again, which meant that I could put a bit of investment into attack, meaning that multi-attack 2-hit KOs a bulky Gyarados, and then I could run the rest into defense, which would mean that a bulky Gyarados at +1 can't 2-hit KO me with Crunch. It's fantastic. Like, I love that so much. It's brilliant. And then, obviously, the greatest thing about this set is that it's a dead stop to Zygarde 10%. It threatens that thing out. It takes everything that thing wants to throw at me. Even like a devastating Drake from an outraged Zygarde 10% does just under 50%. It's amazing. I can switch into that thing all day, any day. It wants to set up on me, fine. I don't care. I can Ice Beam it. It's brilliant. And Parting Shot's lovely for momentum. Flamethrower's there to hit Ferrothorn only, and between those three moves I hit everything except for Infernape for super effective damage, but I have Parting Shot to predict that thing coming in anyway. So yeah, I love this Silvally. Shout out to Shardy for helping me with that. He's an absolute legend for that. And yeah, Silvally Grass is going to hopefully put in some work. Now the next mon we have is Latias, who I made a bit of a strange decision with this girl. I was meant to put Thunderbolt on it, but I decided last minute that no, I don't need Thunderbolt. I have other ways of dealing with Mega Gyarados. And if Ferrothorn decides to Spike Stack me, I'm in trouble, because the only thing I have that doesn't that doesn't take damage from spikes is this thing, and Landorus, so I felt like Defog was a bit more useful here. Carmine's stored power runs through his team once I get rid of Mega Gyarados. However, there's not too much it can set up on. I can't set up on Mew if it's like physical with U-turn or toxic, because then I get put on a timer. I can't set up on Thundurus really, because it can... Well, I can set up on Thundurus actually, I just don't particularly want to. I can set up on Ferrothorn kinda, if it doesn't carry Thunder Wave, and even if it does, that's not a huge issue to me. I can't set up on Gramble because it 2-hit KOs me if it's physically offensive invested. So I probably should have gone with Psychic over Stored Power. But I still feel like this thing could possibly sweep. So we'll see. We'll see exactly how this goes. Physically defensive here is mainly just so I can wall Infernape that's not... Like, I can wall Scarf Infernape if it decides to lock itself into Flare Blitz or Close Combat. And I take not too much from U-turn or knockoff, and if it knocks me off I have Roost for recovery anyway, so it was the best answer I could come up with to deal with Infernape that was Scarfed. Now my next mon is Landorus with Soft Sand, and as you can see by the last mon, I'm going to be running Sand this week because Landorus just hits like a truck, seriously. So yeah, Earthquake, U-turn, Stone Edge, Sword Stance. The great thing about this is that there's so much that I can set up a Sword Stance on, because with this speed, I outspeed 5 of the 8 things on his team. I outspeed Mew, Mega Gyarados, Kamala, Ferrothorn, Gramble. All of his defensive core is outsped by me. I can then threaten one of them out at some point, set up a Sword Stance, and then Earthquake what comes in, unless it's Mega Gyarados. Well, no, I can kill anything that comes in at that point, because I'll be able to take a hit. There's nothing he can throw at me besides Specs Hidden Power Ice from Infernape, and Specs Hidden Power Ice from Thundurus that can kill me. So unless he goes into one of those two, which he probably won't be able to, I'm going to Wall Break him with this thing. +2 Soft Sand Earthquake. OHKOs his entire team. It's brilliant. It was too important to miss up. Like, I couldn't pass up that in favour of Rock Polish if I wanted to, because it just hits like a truck. Seriously, it's such a good wall breaker against this team. But yeah, I've got my Stone Edge to hit the Thundurus. I've had to go max speed to outrun Speedy Mew. I've had to go U-turn for momentum so that I have 4 mons with some kind of momentum. And yeah, obviously, as you can see, the last mon will then be Gigalith, so that I can, you know, do things and stuff. The speed here is so that I can outspeed a non-speedy Gramble, and then 2-hit KO it with Heavy Slam. I've then also just got Stealth Rock and Superpower, and Earthquake, because Earthquake does a lot to his team. It's the only thing I had that could reliably, you know, deal with Infernape. Like, Stone Edge wouldn't actually KO Infernape, and I needed something that would, and Earthquake did. I considered running Choppleberry on this guy, just so I could take, you know, a close combat from Infernape, should it lock itself into it. But I decided against it last minute, because I'm like, those 3 extra turns of Sand could really, really help Landorus do like more things in the long-term game. I'm surprised I didn't bring Stoutland here, because I was like, Stoutland kind of runs through him if I pack Fire Fang, but I felt like he had enough to check it that it wouldn't be made useful, plus the possibility of him bringing defensive bulky Mew with Will-O-Wisp just kind of put me off it. So I'm happy with this team, and I really hope that we can get a good result this week. So yeah, let's head into the battle and see what happens when we take on Eric and his A.S Rowlett. So here we are in the battle, and we can see that the team he's brought is indeed Thundurus, Ferrothorn, Infernape, Granbull, Mew, and Zygarde 10%. Now the problem with this is that having no Mega Gyarados kind of shows that my multi-attack on Silvally Grass is very useless. There's no point in having it. I could have changed that for, say, you know, Air Slash or Thunderbolt to hit Infernape for a bit of damage, but you know what? It's fine, because a big threat to my team has been taken away, and I feel like Latias is just like a pure counter to Thundurus at this point, unless it's like Nasty Plot, and in that case I can just Calm Mind all over it and like stall it out. I feel like I'm not too scared of Thundurus because I have Coco and Latias that don't really care too much. So yeah, I've realised that if I can get my Volt turn game going very early, I put a lot of pressure on him with Coco and Sizzle, because the things that want to take U-turn, namely Infernape, Ferrothorn, not necessarily Ferrothorn so much, but like Infernape and Granbull don't really care about, like, don't really enjoy a Thunderbolt or a Volt Switch, so it's very prime for Volt Switch. Obviously, I've got to be very careful of Zygodog coming in, so if I can get rid of that, I win with Volt Turn. So yeah, let's see what happened when Birmingham Spritzee took on A.S Rowlett and my old nemesis Ashton Akai. So Eric is challenging me. Good luck to you, Eric, and let's see what happens. Oh god, sorry. So he's going to lead off with his Thor, which is his Thunderous, as I'm going to lead off with Frosties, the Tapu Koko. Now, the problem here is that, like I said with Eric, I'm going to stop at turn 1. Like I said with Eric, is that he likes to be incredibly ballsy on his turn 1s. What he likes to do is he likes to try and catch people off guard very early on so that it tilts them, such as like last season when he 6-0'd me with the Cursed Piloswine. So, I have a feeling that this thing's probably going to be scarfed with Sludge Wave or something silly like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not even play around, not even going to risk, not even going to risk going for Thunderbolt and it not killing. I'm just going to go straight for the Volt Switch, do over half to this thing, and go out into Latias, who is a pure counter. So that's going to do a lot of damage. That thing dies to another one. That's ridiculous damage. And Latias is going to come in, and as I predicted correctly, it's going to go straight for that Sludge Wave, and even with no special defense investment, that does nothing. And that is fantastic, because we've just gotten fantastic damage off on a Thunderous who did nothing in return. We've won that trade, and Thunderous is now really pressured. He's going to then realise he can't touch me, and I'm going to go for a Calm Mind as he switches out into Nigel Ferrothorn over here. So I'm going to go for a Calm Mind just to show that I can at least hurt him. I can at least, pressure him and set up all over him. So I kind of... Funny thing about Eric's team is that I didn't realise it during the game, but I won if I'd have kept going for Calm Minds here, because if I'd have just set up and gone for Stored Powers, he had no way of beating me from that range. So yeah, he's going to go for a Power Whip. Not sure why. I think he just wanted damage off on me to see what I wanted to do, but I'm going to go into Silvally Grass because I didn't realise that, things and stuff happened, but I'm going to go for a Ferrothorn, a Flamethrower on the Ferrothorn. It's going to do over half damage to it. It's, yeah, it's interesting. So he's going to set up his Stealth Rocks, which is a bit of an annoyance for me, but hopefully if I can, switch in on this thing again, I can then I can defog on it and, try and break through it with Stored Powers. So he's going to switch it out, realizing that I can kill him with another one, and he's going to go back into the Thunderous, and I'm going to hit this thing with a Flamethrower, and it's not going to be enough to kill it, unfortunately, and the electric terrain's going to disappear. So maybe if I'd have packed a bit more special attack investment, I could have killed that Thunderous there, but hey-ho. I'm going to switch out into Latias, and like I said, it's just like a pure counter at this point, but Stealth Rock's damage don't really help here. He's going to go for a U-turn, though. But as you can see, physically defensive, doesn't do anything. He's worked out my set from that damage, and he's going to go out into Winston. A Granbull here is not a nice thing to have to come up against, because I don't know if this thing's banded, I don't know this thing's set at all, I don't know its investment, I can't really risk him being banded, play rough, and killing me. So I'm not going to Roost, I'm not going to Defog, I'm just going to switch on out of there and go into Kha'Zix the Mega Sizzle. Yeah, I felt like he was definitely going for Play Rough here, so I had to go into it, and lo and behold, he does indeed go for Play Rough, so I get Mega Sizzle, Mega Evolved fairly early on, rather than, leading with it and stuff. So we're going to just stay in and Mega Evolve and go for that U-turn to give us the momentum. Now, there's a bit of an interesting thing that happens on this turn, and it's a bit more annoying than it looks. So I get the crit, and you'll think, oh, that's not much at all. That's not much of a problem. But as you can see, he's gonna go for a... You'll see it in a minute. He's gonna go for a counter. Now the problem with that is that that has just done 50% more damage than it should have to my... Well, it's more like 100% more damage because it just doubled the damage to me. So it's done more damage than I would have liked, and it's meant that Gigalith is not really that usable for the rest of the game, so I have to predict correctly with it. Now, I knew I outsped the thing, and I knew that Heavy Slam would do heavy damage, so as he switches out, I go for a Heavy Slam, hoping to catch him on an Earthquake, or something similar. So, unfortunately, I don't, as he switches into Ferrothorn, and Heavy Slam does nothing, but he does reveal Anticipation, which is quite nice, so he knows I've got the superpower. So, I was in a bit of a 50-50 mind game. I thought, oh, is he gonna double bluff me and stay in and power whip me as I go for another Heavy Slam on the prediction? So I decide, you know what, just attack what's in front of me, go for superpower, does nothing to this guy, absolutely nothing. I'm now at -2 attack, -1 defense. I can't hurt this thing. I need to switch into something that can, you know, take a hit from it. I didn't really have much though. Like, this ground ball's honestly a bit of a problem for me. So I'm going to bring out Gigalith, and I'm going to go into P-Holler, because I knew at this point that, to be honest, it couldn't really touch me too badly, and he's going to withdraw himself, and he's going to go out into Zydogo. And that's fantastic for me, because this thing isn't going to be able to do anything to me, whereas an Earthquake from here mauls his team. So I don't even need to set up, I just need to go for an Earthquake, and something is taking a hella damage. So we're going to do it, we're going to go for that Earthquake, and this Ferrothorn is not living this in the sand, and with soft sand, that's not living any kind of Earthquake ever. And that's first blood to me, that's fantastic, first kill to me, definitely needed that. Ferrothorn's down, it can't spike stack, and if I defog, those rocks are gone for good. So the way he brings out this Mew, and the damage that this U-turn does, reveals to me that this thing is most definitely speedy offensive. That was no HP, no defense. It could be specially invested, but this is probably an offensive Mew. So I decided, you know what, we're going to go into Gigalith, and we're just going to let it take an Ice Beam or a Psychic and die. We do get another turn of Stealth Rock damage, not Stealth Rock, Sandstorm damage, which will put it in range of another U-turn from Landorus. Unfortunately, Gigalith's going to have to go down here, because I don't want to switch into anything else to take that hit. So, yeah, unfortunately Gigalith goes down, but we do get 2 useful turns of Stealth Rock damage on a speedy Mew, so I can then go back out into Landorus, who's just going to threaten this thing with an Earthquake, and just, you know, tons and tons of damage. So what he's going to do is he's going to switch out into Gramble, and I'm going to go I went for the safe U-turn that turn, because I didn't want to risk him going for like a switch into Thundurus in order to sack that off, and then me failing to kill it with an Earthquake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to U-turn on the ground ball, go out into Coco, instant pressure. The Stealth Rock damage is obviously racking up on my team, and it's not great. It's not the best thing in the world, but the Sandstorm does go, luckily. Unfortunately, that means that Landorus's power is now a little bit hampered, but U-turn still kills a Mew from here, so I'm more than happy. So yeah, he's going to withdraw, and he's going to go out into Thor, the Thundurus. He's just going to sacrifice this thing off. Yeah, Thunderbolt, just going to obviously just straight up destroy this thing. And he's already worked out that I'm scarfed from my damage earlier. So, like from my outspeeding of his Thundurus earlier, which he did confirm was scarfed. He's going to go out into Zydog 10%. He then knows that I'm locked into Thunderbolt, I can't hurt it. But I've still got my instant counter back. And you're going to see here how much damage this 1,000 arrows does to me. Look at this. This is a Zygarde 10%. That's nothing. That is honestly nothing, and I love it. But I have to either make a prediction here and go for an Ice Beam, or I have to go for a Parting Shot. Unfortunately, he's going to switch out into Infernape as I go for the Ice Beam, meaning that something is going to take a huge hit from this Infernape, because I still don't know if it's scarfed, so I feel like I have to let Silvally take the hit here. And as you're going to see, that's a banded Infernape. That's a banded Infernape, but it's good news for me because it means that Coco does indeed outspeed it still, but it's annoying because it does outspeed everything I've got left. So I'm going to go for a Parting Shot on that turn as it goes for a U-turn, and yeah, I'm going to go straight back out. He's going to go into Gramble on the U-turn, and I'm just going to go out back into P-Holler and miss out on the Intimidate. So I had a feeling that since I knew this thing had counter, it was either going to switch out or he was going to go for a counter. I couldn't work out which one it was, but as you're going to see, I'm going to go for an Earthquake, and the reason why I did that is that even if this thing did go for counter and I failed to kill it, I at least then know that it's within Dazzling Gleam range from Zygarde. And he's going to go for a counter. It doesn't play out how I wanted. I could have Swords Danced there and then killed something, but yeah, it's an annoyance. It's a bit of a shame. It would have been fantastic if I did that, but I still felt like I knew I had this game. I had this game by the scruff of the neck, because Coco is just instantly pressuring things. He's getting one down by the Stealth Rock, but it's fine as long as I keep it above about 80 health. It should be okay. So he's going to withdraw, and he's going to go out into the Mew. He's just going to let the Mew go down to a couple of Dazzling Gleams, which are going to come right here. And there's going to be another one just in a couple of, like, in the next turn, because this Mew is just dead weight on his team. I outspeed it with most everything except for Mega Sizzle, who I can just bullet punch it anyway. And he's then going to go out into Caesar, which is the Infernape. He knows I'm scarfed into Dazzling Gleam. He knows that I don't kill him from this range, and I have to switch out. I need this thing as my win condition. I'm going to go out into Silvally, let this thing go down, because that's all I have left. It's going to go for a U-turn, which is actually better for me, because it means I don't have to make a play on the next turn. It's going to go for a U-turn. Crit did not matter in the slightest, because this is a banded Infernape. Silvally goes down. Didn't need to do its job anymore, because I still had Mega Sizzle, who could still count. And yeah, Zydog's going to come in. And yeah, this thing's just going to put instant pressure. So I'm going to go out into my other thing that can take a hit from this. And yeah, I'm going to be down at about half. But what he's going to do here, he's going to reveal the Tectonic Rage. It's the Z move. But luckily for me, I'm going to spoil this right now, I don't have any chance of dying to this in the slightest. If this is like Earthquake 1000, or if it's like 1000 Arrows, Tectonic Rage, it's going to do nothing. So, well, I say nothing, it's going to do just over 50%, but from what I had left, it was nowhere near enough to threaten me. Like, that wasn't even a roll or anything, so I'm just going to go straight for the U-turn, do over 50% of this thing. Probably a poor decision in my eyes, probably could have just gone for the Roost there. But, you know, it's fine. I didn't want to risk him setting up to +1 or anything silly like that. But yeah, Coco's going to come back in. I threaten this thing out immediately, but now I get to kill something with Dazzling Gleam. That's how the late game of this goes. It's all about him pivoting around me being scarfed and trying to force me into a situation that I don't want to be in. So, yeah. He's gonna, you know, die to the Dazzling Gleam, and he's left on a... It's a 3-on-2 now. I have Mega Sizzle, who dies to Stealth Rocks. I have Latias, who's at about half health. And I have Coco. Now, I'm gonna just make sure that I switch out here into Sizzle, because I feel like I have this game by the scruff of the neck. I can finish this off if I just play safe. Go into Sizzle, see what he's going to scarf himself into, band himself into, and he's going to go band himself into U-turn, which is the perfect thing for me. And as you're going to see why, it means that I have pretty much won this game from this point, because I'm at 83 health. As long as I was above 80, there was no chance of me dying to a combination of a banded Mach Punch and a Zygarde Adamant E-Speed. So what's going to happen here is I know that I can live the banded U-turn quite easily, and I'm just going to go for a Dazzling Gleam to weaken this thing. So yeah, that's fantastic. That thing's now in range of another Dazzling Gleam, so I win if I can kill that thing with Coco. Puts me at 51 health. That's just out of range of Zygarde's E-Speed. Not a roll. I know that from what I've worked out from this thing's damage calcs, I know exactly what its set is, and it can't kill me without a crit. As long as he doesn't get a crit, I win. No crit. And we've won, because he can't take out both Latias and Coco. He can take out one or neither. He has to go for banded Mach Punch here to lock himself in to have a chance of killing Coco. Just a lower differential. Hindsight, I could have switched out into Latias there, but if he goes for anything other than a Mach Punch, I lose, because then Coco dies to rocks. So yeah, Latias is going to come in. He's banded into Mach Punch. That's going to do absolutely nothing. So the next couple of turns, I'm going to Roost, just to make sure he doesn't kill me with a crit on the next one or something silly. But I was never in danger of that. I just wanted to make sure. So I'm going to go for a Roost here. Going to get myself back up to full. This is like a victory march here. It's like a victory lap. You know you've won, so you're just going to do It's a little bit disrespectful, but it was the only way that I could, you know, reliably kill it. It would have, I don't think 2 stored powers from my, I don't think it would have killed. So this was the quickest way I could do it. Roost, make sure he can't get crit shenanigans on me, go for a Calm Mind, and then just kill it with stored power. And that's going to be the game. So we've beaten Eric in our second meeting between each other. It's not quite a 6-0. It's definitely a better game this time round. It's a bit of a boring one because there weren't really many plays. There was a Tectonic Rage, but yeah, we're going to go for stored power, and that's going to be the Infernape down. That is going to be a win. We are now at 2-2. We are now at +0. We're completely even in differential, and that's fantastic for us because it means that we are absolutely fine. We don't need to worry about any of that. Like, we don't need to worry about being minus differential. We're still behind him in the table, even though he's also at 2-2, because he's at a +1 differential now. So we are still behind him in the table, but we've closed the gap on some of the top 3, and we are still in this title race. We are not out of it because of that result. Eric, he's taken a bit of a setback, but we're all still in this title race. Division 2 is incredibly close this season. Anyone can beat anyone. And if you're watching some of the other games this week, you'll work out that anyone can beat anyone. So yeah, that's going to be it from me. Fantastic game from Eric. That was poor. I didn't do things and stuff. I didn't stop it because I'm silly. Let's play and pause. Yeah, silly things are silly. But yeah, that was a fantastic game. Make sure you go into the description and check out Eric, see his side of the battle. He's very, very good. He's a very good YouTuber. He explains his plays really well. He always makes sure that he does everything, like he calculates. He has Citra, so his battle's going to look amazing. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. And next week, we are going to be playing against Ellie, who I haven't faced in a Pokemon battle for 2 years. And the last time, she haxed me to hell. So we're going to be playing against Accrington Stantler, who are also 2-2. That's going to be a real, you know, it's going to show who's off and chasing up the top of the table. It's going to separate the pack a little bit. So yeah, make sure you stick around for that one. It's going to be a very tense game. And I hope you've enjoyed this match. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you thought. And I will see you guys next week for when we are playing against Accrington Stantler and the Based Liquids. So yeah. See you later, guys. See you later.